They thought Earth was a joke. The Galactic Concord had maps of thousands of star systems, worlds brimming with technology, wisdom, and power. Earth, it was marked as a Tier 0 developing world, meaning no space travel, no galactic presence, and no real threat. Most alien empires skipped over it. Some used it as a rest stop. A few even dropped off trash satellites in its orbit. But one race took it further. The Avante, tall, proud, and cruel, ruled over 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. They saw themselves as the chosen flame, destined to burn away weakness. When a patrol ship of theirs passed near Earth, they scanned the planet and laughed. A world of dirt and meat. Commander Trisk sneered. They sent a single probe down into the clouds. It landed in the Pacific Ocean and began monitoring human broadcasts, learning languages, culture, and signals. It didn't take long for the AI to summarize Earth. Chaotic species, primitive weapons, weak space presence, internal conflict, no threat. So, the Avante decided to make an example out of Earth. They sent a single battlecruiser, the Carathal Fang, a minor vessel, barely armed by galactic standards. It would be enough to hover in Earth's orbit, disable satellites, and send a message. Join or kneel. No one expected resistance. Why would they? Humans had barely left their moon as the Fang entered Earth's atmosphere. Cloaked and quiet, it began to scan cities for command centers. The plan was simple: disable world communications, fire one shockwave into the ocean, and demand surrender. They never fired. Something caught the ship's sensors, a strange energy signature from Antarctica. At first, they thought it was a geothermal anomaly. Then, the data changed. A power surge, then a field of radiation unknown to the ship's database, and then, something else. A signal, short, sharp, in perfect Avante military code. But the message was ancient, a code used only in the First War era. You are trespassing on restricted ground. Leave immediately. The bridge fell silent. Commander Trisk narrowed his eyes. Who sent that? The AI tried to locate the source, but as it did, the sky above the Fang opened. A hole, not natural, not atmospheric. It was like a tear in the sky, as if reality itself was bending. Out of the rift came something metal, something massive. A black ship. It didn't glow, it didn't roar. It simply was silent, sharp, and shaped like a blade, longer than a city. It bore no markings, no lights, no signals, but it hovered above the Carathang like a judge above a criminal. Trisk barked orders. Shields up. Get distance. Too late. The human ship, if it could be called that, pulsed once. Not with fire, but with force. The Fang was torn in half mid-air. No sound, no heat, just pressure. Half of it crashed into the Pacific. The other half never hit the ground. It was simply gone. Earth's people never saw it. News channels barely mentioned the falling wreckage, claiming it was a meteor. But someone was watching. High above the moon, a hidden Avante outpost reported the loss of the Fang and saw the black ship vanish into space like a ghost. The signal was sent back to Avante High Command, and that message shook the Empire. Because the black ship was impossible. Its design matched no known race. Its energy signature didn't exist in their archives. And most disturbing of all, the signal it sent before attacking came from an ancient human dialect, a dialect that shouldn't exist, because humans were supposed to be new, weak, unformed. So, how did a human warship appear in the sky, armed with weapons beyond understanding? And who, or what, gave Earth that kind of power? Back on Earth, the governments scrambled. The falling debris from the Fang was quickly collected by unknown agents. Some claimed it was NASA. Others said it was something else, but deep beneath Antarctica, behind layers of ice and rock, something old had awakened, and it wasn't the first time. The black ship vanished as quickly as it appeared. High in orbit, the Avante outpost continued scanning. No warp trail. No heat signature, nothing. The ship had entered through a tear in space and exited the same way, like it didn't obey the rules of physics, like it had made its own. And that terrified them. Commander Trisk's death was reported as a loss in a low-tier sweep operation. But within Avante High Command, there was panic. They sent more probes toward Earth. Cloaked, shielded, hidden from all detection. But this time, they didn't just scan cities, they searched deep below the planet's surface. That's where the energy pulse had originated. From beneath Antarctica, what they found made no sense. A massive structure, buried in ancient ice, older than any human civilization. The scans showed walls of metal not found on the periodic table. Energy readings that bent light itself, and, strangest of all, something alive inside. Not moving, not breathing, but alive, the scientists argued. Some claimed it was an alien ruin. Others whispered a darker theory, that the structure was human. Just not from this humanity. Back on Earth, things were changing. Dr. Alea Ramos was a physicist in Chile. She worked with the Atacama Deep Sky Array, searching for black holes. But her telescope picked up something new, a repeating pulse from space. Binary code. Every 33 seconds. Not a natural pattern. She ran the sequence. Through old decryption tools. Her heart stopped. It was in English. Old English, words repeated over and over. Do not reveal the sky. She called the observatory in California. They received the same signal. So did a team in South Africa. All pointed toward the same location, Antarctica. Governments around the world began to react. Satellites were quietly flights diverted. Icebreakers turned away. Something was being hidden, and not very well. But some people already knew. Colonel Mark M. had retired years ago. He lived off-grid in Alaska, away from the madness of politics and war. But a knock on his cabin door one morning shattered that peace. A young woman in a black suit handed him a case. "Colonel," she said, "we need your eyes on something." Inside the case was a photo, not a satellite image. Not a fake dot, it was the black ship. M stared at it for a long moment. Then he whispered, "It's real." The woman nodded. "So, you've seen it before?" M looked away. "Not exactly. But in 1982, a mission I was part of, Deep Recon, in Antarctica, found something buried. Our orders were to seal it, forget it, and never speak of it again." He paused. "We called it the Ark." The agent spoke quietly. "The Ark just woke up." Meanwhile, in orbit, something strange was happening. A single Avante probe, unnoticed by Earth, was drawn toward the Moon. Not pulled by gravity, but by signal. An ancient tone. It tried to resist, activating emergency systems. But its engines died, its systems shut down. The probe drifted silently toward the dark side of the Moon, and vanished. No explosion. No signal loss, just gone. Inside Avante High Command. Panic grew. An emergency session was called. Images from the black ship were analyzed. Again and again, the energy pulse that destroyed the Kerathal Fang wasn't plasma. It wasn't radiation. It was dimensional pressure, a form of spacefolding only theorized by the elders. And no known civilization, not even the old Thalkor Empire, had ever weaponized it. But this ship had, and it had spoken in human tongue. The emissary to the Council of Warlords stood in silence before the assembly. Then he said something that chilled the room. There may be two Earths, the one we see now, and the one we forgot. The wind howled across the Siberian plains. In a tiny frozen village near Lake Baikal, 12-year-old Katya sat outside her family's cabin, staring at the sky. The stars had always comforted her, but tonight something felt wrong. The stars flickered, not like they were twinkling, but like they were being watched. Suddenly, she heard it. A whisper, faint, like a dream. She turned. "Mama," no answer. The voice came again, this time inside her head. "Child of dust, can you hear us?" She jumped to her feet. "Who's there?" But there was no one. Only the wind. Then the sky flashed. Not with lightning, with shapes, huge circles of light, like ancient writing, spinning in the air above the mountains. They glowed for less than a second, then vanished. Katya didn't scream. She just stared. Somewhere inside her, something stirred, a memory that wasn't hers. A feeling of belonging to something older, deeper. Her eyes shimmered silver for a heartbeat. And then she heard the voice again. "It is beginning. Wake the echoes." Far above, satellites picked up the anomaly. Not just the sky symbols, but the pulse. It went out like a drumbeat across the atmosphere, hitting devices, sensors, even the bones of certain people. People like Katya, people who were born near the old sites. Old sites no one remembered anymore. In Washington, D.C., Colonel M. sat with a high-level defense group called Section 9. They weren't officially part of the military. They didn't exist on paper. But they knew the truth. Something ancient had been hidden on Earth, and now it was waking up. An agent entered the room, holding a tablet. "We just got new data. 3 more energy signatures, one in Siberia, one in the Sahara, and one deep inside the Mariana Trench." M leaned forward. "That's 4 points now, all forming a pattern." "Yes, sir, a tetrahedron. The kind used in ancient navigation systems." M grunted. "It's a lock. Something's about to open." Back in orbit, a council ship from the core Dominion allies of the Avante arrived to investigate. Unlike the arrogant Avante, the core were cautious and methodical. They sent small, cloaked drones toward the Earth. One drone entered Earth's upper atmosphere near Antarctica. It got as far as 110 kilometers. Then it stopped. Time around the drone froze. Not slowed. Stopped. The stars, the light, even the molecules inside the drone stopped moving. Instruments on the core ship went dead. It took 4 minutes for the drone to be ejected, not by explosion, but by force. Like a hand throwing it out of a room, the drone returned, changed. Not physically, but inside, in its memory core, was a message, not a virus. Not a threat, a sentence. "We remember the fire." The core ship left without a word. Katya couldn't sleep. That night, her dreams were strange. She saw a tower, black, sharp, and buried under snow. She walked through it, heard voices, saw flashes of a war, not on Earth, but in the sky. A war fought by humans, thousands of years ago, against something monstrous. She woke up screaming. Her mother rushed in. "Katya, what is it?" Katya stared out the window. "They're coming back." In the Sahara Desert, a sandstorm rose without warning. Within the eye of the storm stood a monolith, uncovered after thousands of years, covered in strange markings. Nearby archaeologists fainted when they touched it. One man's eyes rolled back, and he began speaking in fluent Sumerian, though he'd never studied it. What he said chilled the team. "They buried the sun here, but it still breathes. In the Mariana Trench, A deep-sea probe touched the ocean floor and triggered something. A light, then a rumble. Seismic readings showed the floor shifting, not cracking, but opening. A door. Colonel M read the reports with a stone face. "This isn't first contact," he muttered. Agent Lin, across from him, frowned. "What do you mean?" He looked up. "This is recontact. We've met them before. Or we were them." Back in space, a coalition of alien species formed a blockade near Jupiter. They weren't waiting for humans to act. They were preparing for something worse. Because if Earth was waking up, then something terrible was about to come with it. The sky above Earth was no longer empty. 8 warships from 4 alien empires now floated in formation near lunar orbit. Each one armed, armored, and alert. These weren't scouts or science vessels. These were siege ships designed to level planets, destroy civilizations, and erase problems before they grew. And they believed Earth was a problem now. The Avante had declared Earth a potential class read emerging threat. That term hadn't been used in over 10,000 years. It meant this world has something dangerous buried in its roots. A unified message was sent to all human networks: surrender. Cease all signal transmissions. Turn over the entity awakened. In Antarctica, if you do not comply, we will initiate planetary sterilization. But Earth didn't respond, because Earth didn't need to. Deep under Antarctica, in a hidden facility encased in ancient ice and metal, something had begun to hum. It wasn't just waking up, it was remembering. A sphere of black crystal floated in the middle of a chamber shaped like a star. On its surface, thousands of strange markings glowed and shifted. Each symbol was a name, a memory, a command. Suddenly, the sphere cracked open. A voice echoed through the room, not mechanical, not human, but something between both. Protocol Phoenix, confirming return of the fifth flame. Soul anchor reconnected, preparing for recall. In a nearby chamber, a metal coffin hissed open. Inside was a body, human, yet not, frozen for thousands of years, untouched by time. Eyes snapped open, glowing silver. Katia gasped and clutched her chest. At that exact moment, thousands of miles away, she felt something enter her mind, not like a thought, but a presence. It didn't speak in words, it just shared emotions. Rage, memory, sorrow, fire. She heard the whispers again. "You are the echo, the last child of the forge." Her mother screamed from the other room as lights flickered and shattered. The radio exploded. The old wooden clock turned backward. Katya stood, completely still. Then her eyes turned silver. The alien fleet didn't wait for another warning. The commander of the Corps, Ship Tesselblade, issued the firing command. Target North Pole, South Pole, and major communication centers. Fire antimatter rods. Eliminate buried weapons before they fully activate. Their railguns charged, but before the first shot fired, the stars disappeared. No explosion, no sound, just darkness. A wall of black metal unfolded from behind Earth. A single ship, impossibly large, had arrived. It hadn't jumped from warp space. It had bent the solar system to make room for itself. It dwarfed the alien fleet. Its hull was smooth, polished obsidian. It had no lights, no visible weapons, and yet every ship targeting Earth stopped moving. Not because they wanted to, because their systems froze. On every alien screen, a message appeared. "This world is under our watch. Depart or be undone." The Tesselblade tried to reboot. Its captain, trembling, said, "That language, it's not just human. It's pre-collapse human." Another voice on the bridge added, "Sir, Our primary core just vanished. Vanished? What do you mean? I mean, Commander. The ship has no engine anymore. They looked out the window in horror. The front half of their vessel had disappeared. Cut clean. No explosion. No debris. It was like someone had taken a god's scalpel to the ship. The fleet turned and fled in the chamber beneath Antarctica. The glowing body stepped out of the cryo pod. It looked like a human male, mid-30s, pale skin, short black hair, but his eyes held galaxies. His veins shimmered gold under the skin. He walked toward the black crystal. Status, he said. The sphere responded. Recall incomplete, memory anchors scattered. Fifth flame located in Siberian region. Connection unstable. The man nodded. Katya back in Siberia. Katya collapsed. Her mother cried over her, begging for her to wake. Then Katya sat up and spoke. But her voice was layered, her normal tone beneath something ancient and commanding. He has returned. The lights in their cabin exploded outward. Glass flying in every direction, yet Katya and her mother were untouched. Outside, the snow began to melt in a perfect circle around their house. In orbit, a signal bounced off the moon and traveled across the galaxy. It was old, very old. But it carried a command, and far away, in a star system believed to be dead, something opened its eyes. The chamber under Antarctica was no longer quiet. The man, now fully awake, stood at the center of the ancient command core. Around him, giant machines spun up, their parts untouched by time. Walls lit with symbols no modern human could read, yet he understood each one as if they were written in his own blood. He reached out and touched the black crystal sphere. It pulsed. "Confirm your identity," the sphere demanded. He spoke a name that hadn't been spoken aloud in 50,000 years. General Solars Verne, flame-bearer of the First Sky Legion, last guardian of Earth. The room responded. Lights shifted. Gravity bent slightly, and above, the icy ground shook, not violently, but like something deep below had sighed. Thousands of miles away, Katya sat in silence. Her eyes still glowed, silver. Her mother stared at her in fear, tears frozen on her cheeks. Katya turned slowly. Her voice sounded like herself again, but calmer, steadier, like she wasn't alone in her own skin anymore. "Mama, I remember things. I remember stars that were gardens, moons that sang. I remember fire that walked." Her mother whispered, "You're just a girl." Katya blinked. "I was, but not anymore." At that moment, a pulse went out from Antarctica, not through machines, but through blood. Every person on Earth who carried the dormant genes of the ancient flame, the long-lost descendants of the First Empire, felt it. Some collapsed, some screamed, some awakened. In Brazil, a soldier felt his skin burn, only to find golden lines etching across his arms. In Egypt, a child spoke a sentence that activated a buried pillar of black stone, hidden beneath the Great Pyramid. And on the far side of the moon, something began to move, something not made by aliens, but by humans long forgotten. General Solars Verne walked through the central corridor of the Ark, buried beneath the Antarctic ice. With each step, memories flooded his mind. His world, the old Earth, had ruled half the galaxy. Not with fear, but with knowledge and fire. Humanity had once been gods among stars. But they grew arrogant, and something answered. He remembered them. Beings from beyond the known dimensions. Not made of matter, not born of stars. Predators of light. The war nearly broke existence itself. Humanity's empire had vanished, not because it was conquered, but because it had sacrificed itself, sealing the knowledge, the weapons, and the bloodlines away, until Earth forgot. Until, now, Katya's breathing slowed. She saw memories that weren't hers, millions of them. Soldiers marching across crystal bridges, fleets the size of moons clashing with shadow beasts. A final stand on Earth, where 12 humans ignited their souls and became living weapons. And Solus, the last one, sealing himself beneath the ice with the last of their power. A whisper filled her mind. You are the fifth flame, the echo. My heir, above Earth, chaos returned. The fleeing alien fleet hadn't gone far. Reinforcements from other empires arrived, drawn by panic, power, and fear. Hundreds of ships now circled the solar system. The Galactic Council tried to intervene. Messages poured across secure channels. Do not provoke the Earth. Do not engage. But some didn't listen. The Creel, brutal mercenaries, known for wiping out whole planets for sport, launched a stealth missile aimed at Antarctica. Not a test. A kill shot. It never reached its target. It vanished mid-flight. Then, a voice echoed across every ship, every frequency, every brain. You built empires from our ashes. Now, the fire returns. Back under Antarctica, Solos entered a final chamber. In the center sat a chair made of black stone and starlight. He placed his hand on it. The machine spoke. Neural command unlocked. Planetary systems online. Starforge link re-established. Status of the vaults? Solas asked. 3 of 7 remain. The rest, corrupted. And the seed? She breathes. Solas closed his eyes. Katya, he could feel her. Not just as a successor, but as a part of him. The echo of all he fought to protect. She was born to carry the flame. And she wasn't the only one. Across Earth, others were waking. The children of fire. The hidden lineages, the last blood of the Empire. The old humanity wasn't gone. It had been asleep far beyond the solar system. In a realm where stars didn't shine, a presence stirred. The locked gates that once held it back had weakened. It smelled fire again. Human fire. And it, Hungered. Its whispers stretched out, seeking a way in, seeking Earth. The Creel did not retreat. While most alien fleets backed away from Earth's orbit, scared of the Black Ship and the ancient warnings, the Creel warlords saw an opportunity. They were conquerors by birth, bred in war, addicted to the thrill of battle. And to them, Earth was still just a low-tier planet with old tricks and strange myths. Let the cowards run, growled Warchieftain Draskar, his armor pulsing with red veins of living metal. I will drag fire from their soil. He wasn't coming to talk. He brought 7 dropods, each holding elite warriors. Inside were hulking killers, bred with claws, laser axes, and spiked armor. They laughed as they descended through Earth's sky like meteors. Their target, the Antarctic Vault. They wanted to destroy the source of the signal. They wanted blood. But Earth was not sleeping anymore. As the Creel pods slammed into the ice with thunderous booms, the ground itself pushed back. Frozen plains cracked and folded upward. Ancient metal spires emerged, humming with impossible energy. The first Creel squad opened fire. The spires didn't move, but the ice around them screamed. The snow turned to steam. The temperature surged, and then, from beneath the surface, rose them guardians built during the first flame. Machines shaped like wolves, tigers, dragons, and men. Not AI, not robots, that they were living constructs, bound to the blood of the flame, and they were angry. The first Creel warrior charged. He never made it. A black lion-shaped guardian leapt forward and crushed him mid-swing, claws glowing with sunheat. His armor melted in seconds. His bones cracked like dry twigs. Another Creel fired plasma rounds. The bullets bent mid-air, redirected by a gravity shell, and turned back toward the shooter. The battle lasted 7 minutes. Then silence. Only the wind remained. Solus stood at the edge of the command platform, watching from within the vault's control dome. "They came fast," he muttered. A voice responded beside him. Not Katya, but one of the reawakened Flameborn. A woman named Vera, former captain of the Flame Guard. She wore gold-etched armor and bore a curved blade made of light. "They came foolish," she said. Solus turned to her. 3 vaults are still dark. The longer they sleep, the weaker our reach. We must awaken them. The enemy watches." She nodded grimly. "We're running out of time." Katya stood at the center of a newly awakened vault, this one beneath the Siberian earth. The ground trembled around her. Machines, once buried for millennia, now turned toward her, scanning, accepting. The vault spoke in her mind. Seed confirmed. 5th flame. Active. She didn't fully understand what she was. She was still just a girl, afraid, confused. But the memories inside her grew stronger each day. When she closed her eyes, she saw the old earth, the burning skies, the great sacrifice. And the darkness that had nearly devoured them all. It wasn't just aliens, it was something outside the galaxy, outside reality, a thing of void and hunger. It was called many names: the Hollow, the Dark Choir, the End Singer. The humans of the first flame called it the Void Heart. It had once broken through the cracks of space, and it was trying again, in deep space, far beyond the light of stars. The enemy moved. Not with ships, not with armies, but with thought. Planets flickered. Moons vanished. Suns dimmed as whispers passed through the cosmic web, and then a breach opened a crack in the darkness, and from it came the first herald. It was not a being, it was not a ship. It was a shape made of void, surrounded by screaming light, and it flew not with speed, but with wrongness, and it was headed for Earth. The Galactic Council received the warning too late. By the time they identified the breach, entire sectors had gone silent. Whole civilizations vanished without even a distress call. The core scientists sent a final transmission. "It's not a war. It's a correction. And we are the mistake." Then nothing. Back on Earth, Solars gathered the Flameborn. There were only 9 of them fully awake, but with Katya, the 5th flame, they could reach the remaining vaults. The first flame's final hope had always been stored in pieces, each one linked to a bloodline, a memory, a power. They had one more chance to stop what came before. But they needed Katya to survive. She would unlock the Starforge. She would command the Sky Legion again. She would burn the stars clean, or watch them fall forever. The final Creel escape pod, limping, damaged, filled with only one survivor, reached their homeworld 5 days later. Inside, the soldier collapsed before his warlord. "What happened?" the warlord asked. The soldier's eyes were blank, voice shaking. "We touched Earth's soil, and Earth remembered. The stars were dying. From the edge of the galaxy inward, darkness spread like ink through water. Systems blinked out, suns dimmed. Not from war, not from weapons, but from the arrival of something ancient, something wrong. The Void Heart had come. It did not roar, it did not speak, it simply moved, and everything it touched unmade itself. Planets tore apart silently. Moons reversed orbit and shattered. Light forgot how to shine. Time twisted. The galaxy screamed in silence. And Earth stood alone. But Earth was no longer the same. Katya stood on a platform of floating stone, high above the Antarctic vault. Around her, the air shimmered with ancient code, and her body pulsed with starlight. She was no longer just a girl. The fifth flame had bloomed inside her, not fully grown, but enough. She held the key to the Starforge. Beside her stood Vern, the last general of the old empire. Behind them stood 9 flame-born warriors, awakened from ice and memory. They watched as the sky ripped open. The Void Heart appeared, a swirling mass of black and screamlight, unfolding into Earth's orbit like a bleeding wound, and for the first time, it noticed Earth. Alien fleets, what was left of them, tried to stop it. They failed. Laser arrays melted in place, antimatter rounds reversed direction and tore through their own ships. Shields collapsed without explanation. Crews died without pain, only silence, as if they were never meant to exist. Dozens of ships turned to dust mid-flight, then it turned its gaze on Earth. Inside the Antarctic vault, alarms blared. Dimensional interference detected. Core instability rising. Void incursion has begun. Katya stood still, her silver eyes glowing brighter. Solas turned to her. "It's time," she nodded. "Open the forge." From deep within Earth, something moved, not mechanical, not alive, but both. Buried in Earth's crust was a ring of devices linked to the planet's magnetic field. It activated, pulling energy from the core, the sky, and something deeper. Above the planet. A second tier opened, but this one wasn't from the void. This one was from us, from the first flame. The Starforge emerged, a colossal, star-shaped construct, older than history itself. It looked like a weapon, but it was more. It was a memory engine, a soulbinder, and a forge that shaped power from thought. Only a flamebearer could activate it. Katya floated up toward it, surrounded by light and fire. She placed her hand on its heart, and the forge sang. Across Earth, the remaining 3 vaults awakened. The ocean near the Mariana Trench boiled as a tower of silver rose into the sky. In the Sahara, black pyramids turned golden, radiating fire. In Siberia, the ice exploded as a crystal monolith shot upward into the clouds. Each vault poured light into the forge. Each vault answered Katya's call. The Void Heart struck. A beam of impossible energy reached down toward Earth. Reality twisted. Birds fell from the sky. Storms rose without wind. Oceans hissed. But the forge absorbed it. It drank the void. Then Katya spoke, not with her mouth, but with her soul. "This is our world. You will not have it." She opened her arms. The flame returned. From the forge erupted 12 avatars of fire, living beings made of light and memory. They were the souls of the fallen First Legion, warriors, scientists, builders. They had waited, hidden inside the forge, until a true heir could call them. They joined the Flameborn in the sky. Together, they formed a shield around Earth. Then, they struck back. The battle was not like any before. It was not fought with ships. It was fought with will. Solas plunged into the void like a spear. His armor melted, reformed, and burned with blue fire. He struck the creature's surface, and it screamed. Vera, with her twin blades, carved through tendrils of void. Katya, floating at the heart of the forge, kept singing, not words, but frequency. The same frequency that once sealed the void away. Her voice tore through dimensions. She remembered now, all of it. The past lives, the sacrifice, the fire, the stars. She was not alone. The Void Heart began to unravel. It had not expected resistance, not from Earth, not from humans, not again. As it tried to flee, the forge surged one last time. A beam of fire, shaped like a human figure, soared upward and struck the heart of the creature. And then silence. The sky-healed stars returned. The light came back, and Earth remained. Days passed. The Flameborn stood atop mountains, oceans, and towers. Watching, waiting, Katya returned to her mother, exhausted but alive. She was still a girl, but inside her burned the legacy of 1,000 galaxies. The alien empires sent envoys. They no longer spoke from above. They came humbly. They offered peace. Solus greeted them not with threats, but with a warning. We are not your enemy, but we remember what we are. From that day forward, Earth was no longer ignored. It became a beacon, a legend, a name spoken with awe or fear. Because now the galaxy knew the humans were back, and the sky had opened, and fire walked again